Performing somatic exercises is about releasing tension and trauma that may be stored in our musculoskeletal system. Many of the storage sites for somatic sensory trauma centers can be around our hips, around our pelvis, and so we're going to do these hip opening exercises and pelvic floor strengthening exercises to help with releasing that somatic trauma that may be stored. So what we're first going to do is just go into a butterfly position and just feel yourself slowly rocking in, leaning into that. If you have tension, just allow yourself to perform some motion, maybe even do some pumping if you need to. So you're placing your feet together, and your feet have a connection between them, but you want to allow for most of the stretching to be throughout that hip joint. And so whatever it takes for you to feel like you're stretching into that. If you need to open your feet out just a bit to allow for your knees to come down and really feel that stretch, then do that. Just perform a few pumps throughout this stretch and allow yourself to feel what feels best for your body. It'll look different for each person. So what you can do is you can lift up your feet if you like, you can stretch your knees down, and that's an active stretch. And then just feel yourself starting to relax and release. And if you need to, fold your feet over each other so that they're not flat against each other, and that helps you get a better stretch to the hips. And you can do that. Taking some long, deep breaths, we just start to move forward and feel your stretch coming up through your core. And then you're just breathing forward into that. And this entire time, it's very important that you are thinking very happy thoughts, very peaceful thoughts, allowing a release of any emotions if you are feeling that. Tears are the greatest detox, so if you feel some emotions starting to come up, then that's beautiful. Just release that, allow for that to really just allow your body to go ahead and release that somatic tension. You can lean to each side, make sure that you're keeping the other hip on the floor if you're able to get there. And then you can lean to another side. Just allow that stretch to come all the way up that iliacus around the hip area. Breathing in whenever you feel that tension. And then we're going to stretch all the way around, doing like a sweeping motion. You can extend out one of your arms to just allow a little counterweight. Provide extra stretch. And same thing if you want to repeat that on the opposite side, just stretching through an arc all the way around. Whenever you feel the tension increase and your knees starting to lift up, well then just stretch through that, breathe through that, and allow your body to guide you on what it's ready to receive. Now you can extend your hands up, and then that will provide a nice long arching stretch through. That will take the stretch all the way down into the pelvic floor. Breathe through that, whatever tension is there. Allow your body to kind of release any tension, even in your shoulder blades. And then inhale and sit up. From here, we can practice in a lotus pose. If we don't have a full lotus pose, then what you can do is you can just stretch with whatever you feel like. If you need to just do a cross your legs, then that's okay, and that works too. But if you have a full lotus pose, then great, we'll go ahead and stretch into that. And then just allow for the tension, whatever tension is felt in your hips, to start releasing. And we start to go ahead and arc our bodies and our chests downwards to allow for the stretch to go ahead and mobilize all the way down our spine and into our sacrum. Make sure that your spine stays straight throughout this process. So wherever your spine is feeling the tension, don't arc into it, don't bow into it. Instead, straighten, and if that means you're sitting up straight and not leaning forward, then great. Just listen to what your body needs. Breathing through that, just breathing through whatever tension we feel. Now we're going to cross the opposite way, and that's to make sure that we are still stretching however we need to. So making sure that you cross the opposite foot on top, opposite leg on top. breathe into any tension points. Allow for your mind to release any thoughts that are holding on to tension. And what we can do is also with this, you can stretch further by coupling your hands around your leg and bring it up towards your chest. If you feel tension in the hips that you need to release, and then just arc that back and forth. It's like rocking the baby style in yoga, but you just bring that through any tension. If you feel tension and whenever you lean one way, then you can open the arc into it. And your inhales are going to precede the full long stretch. So your exhale should be releasing tension with your exhale whenever you lean into the deeper stretch. So it'll look like this. Inhale, exhale. Always want to repeat with the opposite side. Make sure that we're stretching and really releasing whatever tension our system is holding on to. So inhale. Exhale. And when we're ready and when we're finished with that, then we can go into this position where you're going to see about a 90-degree angle. And then ideally we want to get to the point that our pelvis is flat on the floor and our knees and our ankles are all touching the floor. So then if we have that pose, then great, we go ahead and just breathe through that wherever the tension is. If we don't have that pose and you're feeling like it's higher, that's okay. Just listen to your body and just breathe whatever tension out that needs to come out. Most of the time you'll feel the stretch in this hip that's arched and angled outwards. And so that's where you're just stretching through and allowing for the hip to release that tension off the anterior side of it. And then we are going to switch. And it's kind of like a windshield wiper type movement whenever we start to mobilize back and forth. But this first hold, we just want to allow ourselves to just go ahead and stretch into that. Different sides may feel different, may have different mobility. And so if you feel like you're not able to get the same level of stretch with one of the sides, that's okay. Just listen to what your body needs and breathe through that. All right, so now let's go ahead and move back and forth. So we're just going to kind of windshield viper like this. And let's just perform about 5 of these kinds of motions. All the way down, just trying to get yourself to the point that's able to release whatever tension needs to be released. And then we'll come up into a squat position. So this is where you can just, on your mat, get your feet to where you can feel that it's very easy to move up into this squat. That's a wide arching squat, and you can use your prayer hands to shift out on your hips so that your knees are outwards. And we want your knees to ideally be directly lateral. Just feel whatever tension you may feel within that. And you can start stretching from side to side to start mobilizing some of that tension. Maybe arch back and forth if that feels best. Remembering to breathe. Breath is what carries the ability for your muscles to start releasing past what their limitations were before. And breath is what carries out the emotions and the traumas that allow for this tension to be held in our body. That's what continues to be the root cause of what continues to make us sick. And if we don't release it, if we don't let it out, then we'll always be chasing wellness. All right, whenever you're finished with this squat, whenever that feels right, then you can slowly start lifting upwards. And then we're lowering back down. Upwards. And down. This one. Up. And down. And then drop down into that windshield viper. Back up. Into squat. And into windshield viper. And if your mobility doesn't handle this, or if you don't feel the strength within the squats, then that's okay. Don't feel like you have to. You can do any variation that you need to do. And let's just perform 3 of these strengthening mobility exercises. And last one, and drop to the side. Good. Now, from here, we're going to go onto our backs and start mobilizing your hips by moving them in a circle motion, coming inwards together and outwards, and feel yourself just mobilizing as much as the hips allow. So if there's some tension points in this lateral aspect, then go ahead and just arc through them and spend some time just stretching into those. If you need to extend one leg because that feels like a better stretch, then feel free to do that. Let's go ahead and perform 5 more in the opposite direction. So you're going outwards and then inwards down, outwards up, inwards down. Let's do 5 of those. And last one. And then just allow your legs to extend up into legs against the wall position. You're just going to stretch through your ankles and perform a few pumps, allowing for that strengthening and the stretching all the way up your hamstrings. Let's do about 10 of these. And then start mobilizing your ankles in a circle. 10 pumps. All right, and then drop down into happy baby. Make sure that your pelvis isn't lifted up, like you really want to allow for your spine to be completely against the floor. Your shoulders are on the floor. Your pelvis is on the floor. And just breathe through this, allowing for your hips to start stretching downwards. Ideally, you have about 90-degree angle with your lower legs extending upwards and your feet parallel to the ceiling. Just breathe through it. Any tension that you feel, just really allow for that release to happen all the way throughout every muscle. This should be a very passive stretch. And the weight of your legs and the weight of your arms as you're grasping your toes is what allows for you to really feel that stretch deep into the inner parts of your hips. If it doesn't feel comfortable to hold on to your toes, then you can hold on to the outsides of your feet or to your calves as needed. And let's breathe 10 long breaths, feeling yourself just stretching through this more and more with each breath. Feel that tension just melting away. Feel any traumas in these hips moving out, releasing from your body. And then we're going to do a spinal twist. So you can move in an eagle position if you need to, or if you need to just keep your hips stacked because that feels better, then feel free to do that. Ideally, your shoulders stay flat on the ground, and then you extend your head the opposite direction. Breathe through this 3 breaths. And then back up, cross over, the opposite side. Three breaths here. We built tension in your low back. Allow it to flow out. Imagine a light that's just spiraling up your spine. With every breath, you're seeing that pulsing light, mobilizing any tension, any toxins, any traumas. Feel it carrying it out of you. Lifting your butts back up again. Stretch each leg to really allow the hamstrings along the back of the hips and along the back of the pelvis to release. Make sure that your pelvis stays flat on the ground. Don't stretch past where your body can release that tension. And then extend down. If you have a wheel pose in your practice and you'd like to do that, then you can raise up into wheel. If you don't, then you can just practice any back bend that feels right to you. Make your bridge pose. Alright, and then extending down, releasing to Shavasana, just relaxation pose. Just allow yourself to go ahead and process any emotions that you feel that arose. If you're feeling at peace, your body's in harmony, then allow that appreciation and gratitude to flow. Allow for yourself to feel in tune with your body and grateful for this practice. Thank you for joining me.